E.N.D here, day 9 and the last day for the spoilers of Aetherdrift. Thank you for the views, thank you for your comments, and thank you for your support. Nowadays, very few YouTubers cover spoilers as I do. Anyway, let's start. And let's start with the last mythic card. Cold Hard Gearhawk 1 to black and to red 5/4 Menace Death Touch enters the battlefield. Put target creature card with mana value 4 or less from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. From a graveyard, not your graveyard. You can choose any creature with mana value 4 or less from any graveyard. It gains Menace, Death Touch and Haste excited creature at the beginning of your next end step. Whole squad heavy 2 and 1 red 2/3. Start your engines. Other goblins you control have haste at the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token attacks this combat if able. Max speed. Tap. Add 1 red mana for each goblin you control. Via Automech Artisan 3 and 1 green 1/2. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample. For 1 green tap, you may put a creature or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you put an artifact onto the battlefield this way, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Alacrian Armory 3 and 1 white artifact. Creatures you control get +0/+1 and have vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target mount or vehicle you control until end of turn. That permanent becomes saddled if it's a mount and becomes an artifact creature if it's a vehicle. Spell Pierce, a reprint for 1 blue instant. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. Outpace Oblivion for 2 and 1 red enchantment. Start your engines. Enters the battlefield. It deals 5 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. For 2 generic mana, sacrifice it. It deals 2 damage to each player who doesn't have max speed. Push the limits 5 and 2 red sorcery. Return or mount and vehicle cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice them at the beginning of your next end step. Vehicles you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Fuel the Flames 2 and 1 red instant. It deals 2 damage to each creature, cycling for 2 generic mana. Point the way for 1 green mana enchantment. Start your engines 3 and 1 green. Sacrifice this enchantment. Search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is your speed. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Brute Heart Engine 1 black and 1 green artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. 2 1 black and 1 green. Tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Light Wheel Enhancement for 1 white enchantment aura. Enchant creature or vehicle. Start your engines. Enchanted permanent gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Max speed. You may cast this card from your graveyard. Deathless Pilot for 1 and 1 black 2/2. This creature settles mounts and cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. For 3 and 1 black, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Grim Bobble for 1 black mana artifact. Enters the battlefield. Target creature upon control get -2/-2 until end of turn. For 2 and 1 black, tap. Sacrifice it. Surveil 2. Howler's Heavy 3 and 1 blue 3/4. Cycling for 1 and 1 blue. When you cycle this card, target creature or vehicle and opponent controls get -3/-0 until end of turn. Lightning Strike, another reprint 1 and 1 red. It deals 3 damage to any target. Kick off Celebrations for 1 and 1 red enchantment. Start your engines. Enters the battlefield. You may discard the card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Max speed. Sacrifice this enchantment. Creatures and vehicles you control gain haste until end of turn. So that was the last card in this particular day 9 and the last day for the spoilers of Aetherdrift. Again, thank you for the support and thank you for everything. As said, not every YouTuber out there covers spoilers as I do. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.